Toastmasters, it is Tuesday, the 28th of October, Halloween week. In fact, the theme for this meeting is trick or treat. Hopefully that's going to carry over to table topics here shortly. But here at Toastmasters, we're here to learn communication skills, leadership and communication skills. That's why we're here. We're here to provide a supportive learning environment for that, where people can go out and exercise those skills, those muscles, where you might not be able to do that in the regular world so much. But we also provide a supportive environment for you to do that. Tonight's meeting is going to be led by our Toastmaster, Gene Symington-Craig.
For those of you at home who are sitting there and who would really like a more direct, visceral experience of Toastmasters, we meet every Tuesday, 7:40 to 9:15 here in the Hy-Vee Club Room off of Burlington, free parking, do your shopping afterwards. It just doesn't get any better. So come on down and visit with us. Tonight, we have some very interesting things coming up. First off, though, we are going to have introductions of our role players. Every meeting needs to have certain functions filled, and we grow when we fill those for ourselves. So welcome guests, but first I think we'll ask guests. I know, just when you thought you could sneak in. Maybe if you could just tell us briefly, a quick statement, what brought you here, and your name and what brought you here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. My friend Luis actually invited me to come. So that's what brought me here. I've been here ever since.
Okay, and your name for
my name is Kayla.
inquiring audience. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, you've been coming. I've seen your
Yeah, I love it here. It's
great.
great.
And this gentleman?
So, my name is Matthew. Kayla invited me last week. I enjoyed the first introductory meeting, and here I am checking out the official Hy-Vee style meeting.
All right, great. And I think we'll go to Lindsay.
Hello, I'm Lindsay McMartin, and I came to a presentation, I think a year ago, and I've been wanting to come, and finally I've cleared my schedule and want to learn to be a better speaker.
Okay, and okay, so let's clap it up, guys. Oh, we've got one more. This is awesome. All right.
I'm from Singapore. My name is DJ. I've been here I think once, and this is my second time as a guest. And actually, I already paid to be a golden speaker, so I just gotta submit the form. Probably next week I'll have it in. I don't know.
Did you pay already?
Yeah, I did.
Who did you give your money to?
There was a international guy. He was a burger.
Was it Joe T. Raj?
Joe T. Raj. I got like a written receipt too, so.
Joe T. Raj, you gotta be careful. No, I'm just kidding. He's our treasurer. Well, excellent. Well, welcome. So new member. So we're looking forward to getting that application and getting you connected in and getting you a mentor and getting you scheduled. Woo! Keep your seatbelt fastened because it's gonna get busy. All right, and then, so thank you, Luis. Thank you for everybody for inviting. That's always really, really helpful. And kind of how things work sometimes. So Prana.
Oh yeah, sure. All right. I'm Prana. I've been here maybe 4 times, did the table topics once, and I don't know, I just like the dynamism of this kind of experience where you can just go out and really dive in. So do some talking, and yeah, I'm here to just to enhance my public speaking. So I will continue coming in the future, and I hope to sign up tomorrow next week.
Good. Well, we're next week, right? Okay, so sometimes you're a guest completely, totally, and then other times you're in the pipeline, and that's where I have Prana in the pipeline.
I'm in the pipeline.
So, yeah, pipeline. So, well, welcome guests. We have some people that are out doing a couple other things tonight, and we probably have some people who are getting an early start on trick or treating. this group a little bit enthusiastic. So let's just go ahead, because what's important is everybody who's here. Let's go ahead and start with our role players. So our first role player is our timer, and that's Samantha Young. Samantha, would you tell us about what your role is, how you're going to be timing tonight?
Sure. My role as timer is to keep track of the time. One of the important skills we practice at Toastmasters is being able to express our thoughts in a specific time. The first portion of our meeting is table topics, and participants will be given 1 to 2 minutes to speak. At 1 minute, the green light will turn on. At 1.5 minutes, the yellow, and 2 minutes, the red. And then you'll have 30 seconds to wrap up before we start clapping you off. Prepared speeches for the evening vary in time. The first will be 5 to 7 minutes, so 5 minutes green, 6 minutes yellow, and 7 minutes red. And the second prepared speech we have is 2 minutes and 30 seconds to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So 2:30 green, 3 minutes yellow, and 3:30 red. The evaluation portion of our meeting will be given 2 to 3 minutes each speaker. So 2 minutes again green, yellow 2:30, I'm sorry, and 3 minutes red. And I'll give a report at the end of our meeting.
Thank you. So yes, we do a lot of clapping, so just get used to it and warm up, and it's good. And it's all about being mutually supportive and positive. That's why we do a lot of clapping, and when you're on the receiving end of getting clapped, it feels really good. So that's why we do that. Our next role player is our grammarian, Luis Correal.
So I'll be the grammarian this evening, and I chose a word for the evening, lackadaisical. This word is an adjective. It means lacking enthusiasm, carelessly lazy. Synonyms are listless, sluggish, spiritless, passionless. An example of the usage of it is, after the surgery, I was lackadaisical for several days. So I will be looking for this word for you guys to be using where it goes up on the talk. And also I'll be looking for creative usages of the English language, as well as usages that could be improved upon.
Great. Well, right off, I can say Golden Speakers is so not lackadaisical. All right, so there. That's pretty obvious. Now, we had a little shortage tonight. Luis always loves a challenge, and so Luis is being our counter tonight. Yes, he's going to be multitasking, so Luis, let's tell us about your role.
So I will also be the counter, so I'll be paying attention to saying like, so, but, and tongue clicks, basically filler words so that we bring the awareness of the filler words that we use during the speech to be able to reduce those little by little each time. Improve on that.
Great. Our general evaluator is going to be Dan Craig. We'll hear from him later. And we'll just organize our ballot counting amongst ourselves, so we'll just get those taken care of. We don't have a joke, so let's just keep laughing on the inside, like we have heard a joke. All right, those are our roles. Now, at this time, I'd like to invite up, it gives me great pleasure, escalating excitement, and cascading fondness to invite up our table topics master, Dan Craig. Not
Madam Toastmaster, thank you for that sincere introduction. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, viewers at home. Table Topics is our chance to practice extemporaneous speaking. That is, you come up, you're given a topic, you have up to 30 seconds to think about it, and then you speak for 1 to 2 minutes. You've got a 30-second grace period as the timer explained. Tonight our theme is Halloween. I've got a Halloween bag here. I'm gonna have you come up and draw a little paper cylinder out of here and reveal your question. There's also the possibility someone could win a prize. So don't get too excited. Do I have a volunteer to come up and give this a try? It's a lot of fun.
I'll do this up.
Okay, come on up.
Speak about it?
You're gonna,
I have 30 seconds to prepare, right?
Up
by the way, timer, I'm gonna have him read the question, then when I leave, then he's got his 30 seconds and the time starts when he speaks.
Okay, great.
Am I supposed to look and pick or? It doesn't matter, right? It's all rolled
They're
up.
rolled up.
Okay, so I'll read this all out?
Yeah.
What is the silliest, scariest, or most unique costume you ever wore for Halloween? I cannot answer that. I haven't. I'm from Singapore, so I have
You don't
no
have
idea.
Halloween?
Yeah, sorry.
Well, sit down.
What?
If you'll allow me, Madam Toastmaster. There's a strategy in table topics where if you don't want to answer the question or you can't answer the question, you get to talk about whatever you want to. We call it segue. So here you go.
Okay,
And what was
so
your name again?
DJ.
DJ?
Right.
BJ.
DJ.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll like talk about what I want to wear for Halloween this year, or what I thought of wearing for Halloween this year. Is that
Very good.
What's the time limit again?
1 to 2 minutes.
1 to 2
And you have a
minutes,
30-second grace period after the red light.
Watch
Can
the
I do
green
it?
light, watch for the green light, that's 1 minute.
I got 30 seconds to that. Okay, here we go. Try. Alright, so what does Halloween represent to us? A scary occasion? Monsters and ghosts? Kids dressed up as things that they don't want to see in real life? What is that? Right? It's scary. It's like evil walking across the streets, across all ages. Everybody's representing that dark side, you know? So why not have a superhero come out to balance that darkness? I plan to be that superhero for this Halloween. And I'm an Asian, so I chose this anime character called Goku. He's a Super Saiyan. This guy from a different planet coming to Earth to try to help these like foreign beings. So I thought, I'm so inspired by Goku. I think that he's a role model for me, and I think that he's the person that can represent the balance of the dark side of Halloween, in my opinion. So I'm going to dress up as Goku this Halloween. He is a unique character because when he charges up and becomes his ultimate self, he's an Asian, by the way, like me, but he becomes Caucasian when he powers up, which suits the occasion because Halloween is a Caucasian festival, right? So I will have to power up to like be able to participate and at least have a unified occasion with my fellow Caucasian friends who celebrate this occasion. So I think that also plays a very cool part. Like it's relevant. That's what I'm trying to say. For me to be represented as a Super Saiyan Goku. So yeah.
Okay, great start. Who else? We particularly like the guests to give it a try if you feel like it.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all leaning forward. Okay, come on up.
would you like to decorate your house for Halloween if time and money were no object? It's easy to spend a lot of money on holidays when we want to have fun. How would I do it? I wouldn't spend money. I wouldn't really even look to objectify the holiday any more than it has already been. I would find objects around my house, and you may consider this to be a lackadaisical effort, but it is going to be suitable to the occasion. I would find things that I don't use very often, maybe some blankets, some sheets, and make ghosts. And I would take any leftover house paint and sort of make some splatters and scary designs on the sheets, and just do some contemporary lighting. Maybe the Christmas lights need to get brought out at this time of year. You know, untangle them now, plan ahead for the winter. Be good, be good. Spend thrift, not spend a lot. Key is to have fun with it.
Okay, we're rolling now. Who else?
I'll take a stab.
Product.
Yes, have a shot. Alright, we got two here. So, trick or treat. So long. What is the best treat you have ever received while on a trick or treat mission? What was the worst? What did you always hope you would get? All right. Worst, best, worst. Okay. All right. So, in Halloween, most people expect they're gonna get candy. Everybody wants like Reese cups and Kit Kat bars and Twizzlers and all that stuff. But my Halloween adventures, I didn't really expect anything great. I just wanted to scare the wits out of somebody, you know, in a legitimate, awesome way. So, I mean, the best treat for me would be to have somebody. I remember going to someone's house dressed up as a box, and I would just stand out on their front porch, and you know they're like, oh, so I've got a little UPS box here, and you know it's Halloween, but still they don't expect it. So that was, I guess the best treat would be just to legitimately get like a good scare for somebody, out of somebody, and not like over the top scare, but anyways, you know where they're going about their normal business, and then you just like boom, fly off the handle, something crazy happens in a good way. Let's see, the worst would probably be have obviously something, you know, where you find some candy and it's got like dog slobber on it or something, you know, and that could be pretty bad. It's like, wow, I just tasted something really weird. Yeah, I saw that, some dog slobber on that. You know, that was pretty gross. And let's see, what else? I guess that's pretty much. Yeah, I don't remember the rest of the question, but best and the worst. So.
What do you
Yes.
expect?
What?
Best expectation.
Oh, best expectation? Maybe like a cruise tickets to the Bahamas or something. Why not, right? Or a lackadaisical day in the office ticket. All right, thank you.
Are we gonna go to A15 or something like that, or just one more?
Yeah, one of your speeches.
One more. What?
Yeah, one of your speeches.
One
One's very
So
short.
we have time.
One's very short.
Oh, we have some guests.
We're agreed that we have more time.
Yes.
One more.
One more. Who else? Okay.
Lindsay.
Lindsay, reach on in.
Where are they?
Well, that's the trick.
Imagine you are going to a party as your favorite superhero or celebrity. Please describe your costume and why you picked that character. I do not like being put on the spot, and I don't know any celebrities, so I'm going to answer the first question. I believe it was describe a costume that your favorite costume that you dressed up for Halloween. I happen to dress up every year. I love Halloween. I think about it for months ahead of time what I'm going to be. And this year, I don't know if it'll be my favorite, but just to give you a preview, I plan to go as a happy little tree, and I'm getting my boyfriend to go, who kind of looks like you, he's tall and has an afro, as Bob Ross. So I'm really excited for this year, but it's not the first one that came to mind. Before I moved to Fairfield, I worked in an outdoor retailer in Iowa City called Fin and Feather, where there's a large hunting community there. And I've hunted, and my dad hunts, and all the guys I worked with hunted, and they were all excited about beaver hunting that year and trapping. We're like, who's trapping? And my dad came in and he showed them all this 80-pound beaver that he trapped. And they got really excited about it. And I convinced a bunch of people as a practical joke that some cheese curds that I had got from the Kelowna cheese house I had made out of beaver cheese. And I was passing them around, oh, you never had beaver cheese? And they were eating it, and it was a big practical joke. And so that year I decided to go as a beaver for Halloween. And I made my costume out of this faux leather skirt and tail, and put fur on my tights, and painted my face, and then wore a fur hat, and then I went around and made cute little beaver noises all night. It was a very memorable time in downtown Iowa City.
Thanks, everyone.
What was the tree?
Well,
Nobody got it.
what do we do?
Is it still a tabletop?
Oh,
I don't know what to do.
Still do that.
Okay, everybody heads up. Heads up.
Got one down there. Got one down there. You did a lot of those things.
One more. So, does anybody say prize winner? Nobody? Thanks, Dan.
One does.
Oh!
So what's my table topics prize?
Well, let me ask my lovely assistant, Jean Simon Craig, to explain the prize that you've won.
Come on. I got recruited. You have a delicious protein bar.
Yay!
10 grams of protein. Leaves your breath fresh and lemony. Covered in chocolate.
Covered in chocolate.
Yum.
I don't know if this is the best or the worst trick or treat I've ever had.
Dan loves these. These are Herbalife. Dan loves these bars, and this was all his idea. So, did I do a good job?
Excellent.
Sir? All right, good.
Okay.
Yay!
Now we're supposed to vote for the best table topics. We had DJ, Matthew, Prana, and Lindsay. So cast your ballot.
And
Did everybody qualify?
they all qualified, and it's a 30-second grace period, right?
Yes.
Yes, so they all qualified.
Okay.
To be honest,
And now now it's time to bring up our table topics evaluator, Mr. Will Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Craig. First off, I'll just start by saying that it was a good choice of topic, very timely, and to start off here with DJ, I like how you actually took 30 seconds to speak. You thought about it, and you paced a little bit, which I actually like because it kind of built the energy, the anticipation, and I like your energy throughout. The only suggestion I have for you is just, you could tell us a little bit more about Goku, because it sounds like a really interesting character. So it's good. Matthew, I like how you turned the question on its head. You were talking about, how money is no object, and then you said, well, actually, I don't need the money. I have, all this creativity on what you can do. The only suggestion I have for you is that I noticed you held your arm a little bit. Now, what I do is I tend to kind of hold my stomach in, and my suggestion for you would be just to kind of open up, kind of show that openness to give you a great message.
I was feeling my pulse.
How was it?
Ready.
Yeah. Prana, you also turned the question on its head by talking about the best and the worst, and actually saying that you really didn't want chocolate or candy. You wanted to actually scare someone. I thought it was kind of interesting. So I can relate to that. For you, my suggestion would be to divide the stage. You had two kind of elements here. You had sort of a good side and a bad side. Good candy or bad candy, or the best or the worst. And you can pick a side. This is the best. Okay. This is the worst. It just helps for the audience to kind of see that dichotomy, or see that kind of reinforce that. And finally, I'll just say that you don't have to answer the third question as well, which was what you would be sense of anticipation. So you can just nail what you want, move on.
Okay.
Okay. Lindsay, I like how you did a really good segue. You had a question, you didn't want to answer it about celebrity costumes, so boom, you're back to question number one. Great job on that. For you, I would just suggest maybe that, because you're in this sort of beaver character, that you just move around a little bit, the stage a little bit more, and as a beaver, just a little bit. And it just create a little more action up here. For all of you, great job. And my final suggestion would be just to leave this area manned with somebody. So if you're going to leave the stage, that you meet up someone like Dan Craig here. Thank you. Shake the hand and move it back. So thank you. Thank you.
So we teach this is like the helm of the ship. You don't want to leave it unattended. And we do a lot of handshaking too, so while your hands are subsiding from all the clapping, then you get to shake hands. We're really into the hands. One thing I want to mention about segues, just a skillful segue is if you acknowledge the question in some way, but then head off in a different direction. So DJ, for example, we don't have Halloween. Singapore, that's crazy. He could also say, Halloween is not a big holiday in my country, but costumes, I can do something with that. And then head off and talk about costumes. So in a way, he's kind of just, he's blending it and he's moving on. So that's a really good technique. All right, now we're ready to do the prepared speeches. These are our, we have two tonight. I'm going to jump right in. We're going to have the evaluator for our first speaker, Jyoti Rajadakari, come up and read the objectives and give an introduction. And that first evaluator is Rick Starr. Please will help me warmly welcome.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and viewers at home, it's my great pleasure to introduce Jyoti Raj Adhikari. Jyoti has been a member of this Golden Speakers Club since 2010. He served the club as an officer in various capacities. Currently, he's the treasurer, and in the past, he's been the vice president of education. Jyoti is a CPA practicing in Fairfield. He's also a chartered accountant in India and Nepal. Jyoti graduated from MUM with an MBA and lives in Fairfield with his wife and daughter. Jyoti is now going into a different area in his profession and learning investment, counseling, and planning. Jyoti is doing Project 8 from the Competent Communicator Manual. This project is Get Comfortable with Visual Aids. Visual aids help an audience understand and remember what they hear. They're a valuable tool for speakers. Title of Jyoti's, and the objectives of Jyoti's speech are 2 objectives: select visual aids that are appropriate for your message and the audience. And the second is to use visual aids correctly with ease and confidence. The title of Jyoti's speech tonight is Why You Don't Become Wealthy, 5 Reasons. And it's 5 to 7 minutes long. Join me in welcoming Jyoti.
Fellow Toastmasters, wonderful guests, and viewers at home. Today I'm going to tell you why you don't become wealthy, instead of telling you how to become wealthy. Because there are a lot of ways and methods to become wealthy. You can follow anything, but if you see these 5 reasons and think on it, then it will help you to become wealthy. The first thing why we don't become wealthy is it never occurs to you. It seems very funny, but it's a reality that it never occurred to you. You never thought in your life that you want to become wealthy. Why? Because birds of a feather flocks together. Because you have the friends with the same social status, same financial status. You went to school with all your friends together who have the same financial status and a social status. So what happened to you? You've never thought to become wealthy because you never saw anybody was wealthy in reality, in real. So it never occurred to you how it would be to become rich. So you thought you are okay with all you have. And the second reason is it occurred to you that you want to be wealthy. But you never decided. You never decided to become wealthy. If you don't decide, it's not possible. You are in your car, you start your engine. You press your gas pedal hard, but if you don't know where to go, how can you reach? You're here and here always. If you decide where to go, if you have goals, then you'll reach somewhere. Even if you don't reach your destination, what you thought, but you enjoy your journey. And there you will gain a lot of things during your journey. Maybe you change your destination time to time, but you must have decided what you want to do. Then only you can become wealthy. So there is, I'm sorry, I'm going to go back. Yeah. That's okay. Even if it occurred to you that you want to become wealthy and you decided, but if you don't take the first step, you'll not reach the top. You have to take first step. You have to work. If you sit down and think about doing something all your life, you'll be there. Even if you do your thought process, you just read law of attraction, you start doing meditation and you start thinking a lot of things. You read a lot of books about all this. The people write big speakers. You are there because you didn't take any step. So the procrastination, you thought, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. After 1 year, you will find somebody had done the same thing what you thought 1 year back, and he became millionaire. Or even famous, or he has an even fame, but because of your procrastination problem, you are there where you were. So Picasso says, only put off until tomorrow what you are willing to die having left undone. So it means if you put it tomorrow, tomorrow never comes. Yesterday was today, today is today, and tomorrow is today. There's nothing called tomorrow. The same day, straight line. Tomorrow is today. And the fourth reason is that's the big weakness we human beings have. We can't delay the gratification. We want everything. Does Apple have a business of selling iPad 4, iPad 5C, iPad 5S, now 6? Within 3 months, 7 will come. Within 4 months, 8 will come. Their business is to sell. And it's like our business is to buy. So they're doing their job and we are buying. We are not able to stop ourselves. That's the one reason. Unless and until we stop ourselves and start building wealth, making a habit of saving, it's not possible to become rich. If you spend what you have in your hand, then you are broke. And you live paycheck to paycheck or depend upon somebody else. But if you give up that gratification and wait for the future, which is today, the future is today. You are building your today. You are giving up which you don't need. If you give up which you don't need today, you don't have to sell what you need tomorrow. So you have to give up. And the fifth and the final reason why we are not rich as we should be is lack of time perspectives. We want everything now and at this moment. We want to be rich just now. So we don't have that ability to wait for the time. Building a wealth, building a money, saving money to become rich takes time. We can't wait for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. We think tomorrow never comes, and that's true. But we don't have that capacity to forego and wait for tomorrow. The people pay us dividend, interest, because we are waiting to enjoy the fruit of the money. For that, they are paying us the interest or dividend. This time perspectives makes you the money, because for that they are paying you the money. In conclusion, why we are not rich? Because it never occurs to us. We never decided to be. We procrastinated because of our inability to delay gratification and lack of time perspectives. I leave you with this quote: rich people have small TVs and big libraries, and poor people have small libraries and big TVs. Thank you.
Please take 2 minutes to evaluate Jyoti Raj. If you all should have forms. It doesn't. Our next speaker is Art Atkinson. His evaluator is Monty Condon. Let's warmly welcome Monty, who will be reading objectives and giving an introduction.
Art Atkinson has been in Toastmasters for several years now. How many years, Art? Have you been in Toastmasters? Golden Speakers? I think it's 6 years. And he was on hiatus for the last couple of years. He was fulfilling various officer roles in the club. You were treasurer last year, and you also filled other roles before that. I think you were also Secretary of Education. But Art has come back to the art of speaking, where he has now come forward from being in the background for so long. And tonight he's presenting a project from a manual called Communicating on Video. This is one of the advanced manuals that you can choose to pick after you complete your first 7 speeches, or first 10 speeches out of the company communicator manual. Once you complete that manual, you have the option to then delve further into the advanced manuals. This is an advanced manual. Art tonight's going to be doing Project 1, which is the Straight Talk. This is a direct video presentation he's going to be giving up here in front of us. Presenting an editorial. An editorial is an opportunity to influence public opinion and action on an issue. It doesn't just draw attention to an issue. It makes a point about the issue because it is brief. You must choose words and information carefully. Make sure your editorial clearly states your position, contains evidence to support that position, and is logically developed. So the objectives for this project that Art's going to be working on is, number 1, to effectively present an opinion or a viewpoint in a short period of time. The speech is only 3 minutes and 30 seconds. To simulate giving a presentation as part of a video broadcast. Please welcome up Art Atkins.
Prescription is that I sit at a desk facing the campus. There ought to be a law. No doubt you've heard that expression many times. Perhaps you've even said it yourself. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Toastmasters Straight Talk. My name is Art Atkinson. On November 4, we have an election coming up. We'll elect a governor, members of U.S. Congress, and members of the Iowa State Legislature. These people will be concerned with producing laws and regulations. So far, these folks have been incredibly productive if the number of laws and regulations they produce is any measure. God gave Moses 10 commandments. Not to be outdone, Congress and the alphabet agencies have so far produced over 1 million commandments for us to abide by, with a new one coming every 2 hours and 9 minutes, 24/7, 365 days a year. On top of this, the state of Iowa adds thousands of its own laws and regulations. At this point, it's enough rules to ensure that nobody can make it to lunch without violating some law. And yet, laws and regulations are very crude instruments for prescribing good human behavior. They usually create unintended consequences. Unintended consequence example number 1, mandatory seatbelt laws. Studies have shown that mandatory seatbelt laws lead to increased fatalities of people outside the vehicle. Next example. Apparently, a CAFO of 1,249 hog is environmentally safe enough in law to require no permitting process, in spite of the fact that it's going to produce as much waste as a town of 5,000 people. But with just 2 more animals at 1,251 head, it's big, and it requires an application to the DNR, which would notify the neighbors. How did DNR pick the magic number of 1,250 animals? It's anybody's guess, but you can bet that they were advised by experts from pork producer corporations. And we get a proliferation of CAFOs just under 1,250 head. Next example. We have all heard how partially hydrogenated vegetable oils, also known as trans fats, are very bad for your health, if not carcinogenic. But did you know that foods containing 1/2 gram of trans fats per serving can be labeled legally containing 0. That's right. 0, 1/2 gram equals 0 in law. Is more law, more lawyers the answer? No. The problem lies at a deeper level. Laws are the wrong tool to obtain cooperative, wise human behavior. The long arm of the law does not offer to talk. It holds out a stick, or a fist, or a gun. Laws substitute force for persuasion. They substitute the intellectual power of some attorney for the combined wisdom of the entire community. Laws must be written to restrict only those who would initiate force or fraud against others. So in this upcoming election, check out the candidates. See if they're addicted to solving problems by enacting laws. And if so, watch out. Some special interest group with money to spend will convince your candidate to sponsor a new law which purports to solve some problem, but which in fact benefits the special interest and has a negative, unintended consequence for the rest of us. Look instead for candidates who campaign on platforms of personal liberty and self-responsibility.
Time now for us to vote for best speaker, but I think we have a disqualification for time. So which
The only speaker who qualified was Jyoti.
was Jyoti Raj. Okay, so I guess we don't need to vote. This vote needs 2 or more, and we have 1. That's all right. All right, so we'll hold that bit. All right, moving right along. Now we are going to hear from our evaluators, and to lead that section of the meeting is our general evaluator, Dan Craig.
Now in the evaluation section, we want to find out what we did well, what could use some improvement. And our first evaluator is going to be Rick Starr, who will evaluate Jyoti Raj.
Madam Toastmaster, honored guests, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home, it's my pleasure to do an evaluation for Jyoti Raj's speech, Why Don't You Become Wealthy? 5 Reasons. And I'd like to start off by saying, Jyoti, I think this is the best speech I've heard you give. It was an outstanding speech for a lot of reasons, and I'll get into them. What I'd like to do is go through the evaluation guide. Each speech has an evaluation guide. And the first 3 or 4 I'm going to lump together. Were visual aids appropriate? Did each visual aid help you to understand or remember the speaker's point? Was each visual aid clearly visible? If the speaker used computer-based visuals, was each visual easy to read and well designed? So all of these I gave an excellent rating. Sometimes I notice when people use PowerPoint, they make 2 mistakes, which is really the same mistake, too much information. They have too many slides and too many words on each slide. And Jyoti, you did a very good job of limiting the number of slides, having very few words on each slide. Each slide was composed of a title and an appropriate quote under it, and I thought you did a very good job of designing the visuals. Did the speaker use visual aids smoothly and with confidence? Very smoothly, very confidently, and there was even a bobble where the slide was advanced too soon and you weren't finished with that slide, but you had a very smooth transition. You talked about you just went to the next slide and it didn't throw you. Did the speaker use body language to reinforce the message? Absolutely. Jyoti moved out in front of the stage, used gestures, but used them in a very effective way, but a very natural way. It was part of the speech. Sometimes you'll see speakers, they'll think, okay, this is half, my speech is half over onto my second point, so they march over to the other side of the stage and position themselves there. And it's difficult to do. It's difficult to use stage movement effectively and smoothly, and I thought you did a very good job of this, and also I thought you had very good gestures to emphasize your points. And was the speech well-researched, very well-researched? Clearly you researched it and you practiced it well. It had good quotes. Each quote was appropriate to the slide. What did I like about the speech? I like the intro. It was a nice twist. Why don't you become wealthy? Very nice pacing. You spoke slowly. You spoke clearly. Excellent use of vocal variety. I think this is the best I've heard you with vocal variety. Good summary. Any suggestion I would have, arrive early to set up the visual aids. Give yourself a little more time. Thank you.
Okay, our second evaluator will be Monty Congdon, who's going to evaluate Art Atkinson.
Dan? Fellow Toastmasters, our guests, of course, Art. What I like about Toastmasters, or one of the things that I do, is that when you come in for a meeting, one of the 4 times you do out of the month, is you never quite know what's going to be on the menu. There's table topics, there's always that, and there's the prepared speeches, but there's a wide variety of prepared speeches. The first ones that you'll do a series of 10 speeches that get you through your competent communicator. Then there's the advanced manuals. And the advanced manuals range from storytelling to video presentation to toasting to TV presentations. So what we saw tonight was one of those out-of-the-mold presentations. And I thought Art actually did a very good job with it. Your introduction, Art, I liked it a lot. You started out with a strong hand gesture and a nice, large vocal variety. Captured the attention of the camera. You looked right at the camera. But you also drew everyone else in. That was a nice, strong opener. So you get good vocal variety, that strong gesture. You also launched into a series of statistics that were attention-getting. You had a nice contrast technique. Started out with, Moses gave us 10 commandments versus the 1 million commandments which modern government has given us. Good contrast. And throughout your talk, you also had very strong vocal variety. There was times where you would emphasize a certain word. Usually when actually you were switching over to a new statistic or a new segment of your speech, you had an opening segment where you'd stress a word. I thought that was very effective. The event that you were covering with your presentation was relevant, was current. It's for the elections coming up in just a week, so it's very timely. You had good use of statistics, and you also, as per the evaluation guideline here in the manual, is you made very good eye contact with the camera. This presentation, Art was actually presenting to the camera, and he spoke and made direct eye contact with it very well. I thought that was very effective. Now, combining all this together, Art, your powerful attention-grabbing intro, your nice contrast techniques, and the presentation of your statistics, the vocal variety, that lent a lot of gravitas to when you were presenting it. You were someone that we should take seriously. That was my impression of it. And it reminded me a lot of a well-established newsman or an anchor, a classic anchorman. So you had that type of gravitas, which I thought was very well. One of the things I think that you could clear up a little bit is there were some times when you were speaking very clearly, and then there were some other times where it sounded like some of the words that you were picking were a little bit muddled together. I think it was more towards the end. That was when you were probably rushing against the time, where you probably knew that you were over time. And that's my only other recommendation is try to stay within the time limit. You sort of knew that was going to be a struggle, but part of being in Toastmasters is we do only have certain time to play with, and we need to try to be within that time. Thank you.
Okay. Now it's time for us to vote for the best evaluator. We had Will, Rick, and Monty. Timer, did everybody qualify?
The only two that qualified are Will and Rick.
Will and Rick. Let's vote for best evaluator. All right, we're going to move right along. It's time for us to get the reports from our role players. And our first report is going to be from our timer, Samantha Young.
Table topics, we had DJ speaking for 1 minute and 39 seconds, Matthew for 1 minute and 2 seconds, Prana for 2 minutes and 7 seconds, and Lindsay for 1 minute and 41 seconds. Our prepared speeches, Jyoti was 7 minutes and 27 seconds, and Art was 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Our evaluators, Will, 2 minutes and 26 seconds, Rick for 3 minutes and 12 seconds, and Monty for 3 minutes and 35 seconds.
I'll vote.
Thank you.
Now we're going to find out from Luis who was lackadaisical and who wasn't. Let's have the grammarians report.
Everybody was lackadaisical with the word of the day. Prana used it though. Prana said, a lackadaisical day off at the office. However, creative uses of the English language. We had Jean, she said, escalating funness, cascading excitement. That was DJ said something along the lines of, it's like fear walking down the streets. Lindsay said, have you ever had beaver cheese? Jody, you can turn on your car and press the gas pedal you want, but if you don't know where you're going nowhere. He also said the future is today. Monty, art has come back to the art of speaking. And I also said, you never know what's going to be on the menu. So I like he said the menu.
Now our next role player report will be Luis as the odd counter.
So I have DJ, you did 2 you-knows, 4 so's, 1 tongue click. Matthew, you did 2 ands. Prana, you had 2 ahs, 3 arms, 2 legs, 2 you-knows, 3 so's, 2 ands, and 5 full stops. Lindsay, you had 2 ahs, 1 2 so's, 2 ands, 1 tongue click. Jody, you have 1 so and 1 and. Art was cool. Wow.
We don't have a joke master. I'll tell a joke if you tell me if you've heard this one. Have you heard the one about the talking dog? The guy who was selling the talking dog? You have heard.
I haven't. Tell us.
A guy was driving down this backcountry road in Arkansas. And he goes by this ramshackle little house. There's a sign out on the fence that says, talking dog, $10. So he stops, talking dog. He asked the guy, does this dog really talk? He said, well, just go around and look yourself. So he goes back around, there's this mutt sitting there. And he says to the dog, do you really talk? He says, yeah, I talk. He said, well, how did this come about? He said, well, I've had a long career. I was in the Army for a while, and then I went to special services. I ended up working with the CIA. I got several medals from the government, but then I just got tired of it all. I thought I'd just come back to Arkansas and rest for a while. So the guy's just blown away. Goes back around the front to the owner and he says, "That's a talking dog. Why are you selling them for so cheap?" And the guy says, "He never did half that stuff." He never did half of that stuff.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. All right,
Okay, good job. Now I'm going to talk about the evaluators. It's actually pretty tough tonight because they were all very, very good. Will was first in evaluating table topics, and he managed to give an appreciation, noted something good that everybody did, and he also gave a suggestion for everyone. That's the basics that you try to accomplish in table topics, and you did it very well. The only thing I can think for you, Will, is to maybe give us a little local variety in your presentation.
Sure.
Then we had Rick, who was evaluating Jyoti Raj. Again, a very nice evaluation, which makes it harder to evaluate him. He enumerated a number of things that Jyoti Raj had done well. I liked that he gave a very good introduction before the talk. He clearly enumerated the objectives, and then when he evaluated, he referred to those objectives. Also very good when you were talking about some of the things you did well, you demonstrated use of stage, gestures, and so on. The only suggestion I would have for you is I thought that in Jyoti's slides, there was a little bit of editing that could have been done on the grammar so that the tense of all the phrases were the same. So perhaps you could have mentioned that. But really an excellent job. Monty, also very, very good. He had a lot of appreciation for the many good things that Art did in his talk. I liked also that at one point he moved out from behind the lectern to talk to the audience. And I want to really congratulate you for demonstrating the problem with going over time so thoroughly. He sacrificed himself. Ladies and gentlemen, he sacrificed himself to give us a strong example.
Do it again.
And that's all I've got. I'm going to turn it back over to Madam Toastmaster, Jean Tamington McCarthy.
Thank you, General. Just want to mention for guests, we have a big emphasis on evaluating, and you may wonder why that is. Well, that's how we improve, that's how we grow, is getting those feedbacks that help us make refinements. We have decided that our general evaluator evaluates evaluators, because we want to know how we're doing, not just in terms of our table topics and not just in terms of our speaking, but also how are we evaluating? Are we picking up the things that we need to be picking up? Are we giving helpful, positive suggestions for improvements, regardless of how good they are? Rick is an outstanding evaluator, but there's always a little something. So that's what we do as evaluators, is get those muscles, intellectual muscles working. So it's all about working out your muscles. In case you wondered, all of the emphasis on why we do the things that we do. All right, now we're ready to announce winners. Yes, and I think we're doing what? Imaginary awards tonight.
Protein bar.
Ah, we have a protein bar in play. Okay. The thing is, we have two awards. We have an evaluator and a speaker. Oh, there they are. Okay, great. Thank you. Yes. Now, of course, you know, if you get one of these, you get to have it for 7 whole days, at which time you bring it back here for the next time. Okay. that means you have to come the next time because otherwise the award is not there to award, if that makes sense. All right, so first, our table topics winner. DJ. Is it
Hands,
like,
right?
yeah, but they're like when you were talking, yeah, is that it? It was like you were
I didn't know
talking.
what I was doing. It was in the moment.
It was good. I know, it was good though. It was good. It was sort of,
Alright.
like that. All right, good. So there are hand gestures and there are hand gestures. That's all I'm saying.
That's good.
Then we're to our best evaluators. Right here. Rick. All right, Rick. Okay. All right. And our best speaker for the night, no surprises here, Mr. Jyoti Raj Adhikari. Is that about it? We would normally have Louis come up. We're a little shorter on our meeting. Is there any club business that any of the club members have that we need to be bringing up at this time? We had a really busy week last week with our special guest speaker. How many people were here on last Tuesday? Okay, she was pretty impressive, actually. And I heard Jeff Shipley at the candidate debate on Thursday night using that fact about Iowa being 49th in the entrepreneurial activity category. And I went, oh. So you always learn something when you come, so that's great. Next week is November. We're starting a new month. I'd like to just touch base with a couple of the new members and pipeline members. Just before you leave, so we can just make sure we're on track with everything for you. Yes, Art?
Do we have any news about how our contestants did?
I don't.
Rick?
Did-
Stephanie?
Well, we were supposed to have an area contest on Thursday, but that didn't happen. And then the area governor contacted the district governor, and because we didn't have an area contest, all the club members who were going to be in that couldn't participate in the district contest. So none of us went to the district contest to participate.
Okay.
So I don't know the results of who, I didn't go, so I don't know the results of what happened.
Okay, so there'll be some conversations on that one, I'm sure. All right. But anyway, it was a busy week last week. Any questions from guests? Maybe we should just touch base before we hand off on anything. I won't start with you because I picked on you last time. Just, if there's any comment on something that you picked up that was of interest for the, for your visit, maybe DJ? I know you're a brand new member, but.
Right.
All right.
I'm just wondering, like, besides, do you guys only meet once a week? Is there extra days where you train in private so that I can get better?
So we have a real eager beaver. Where's the beaver expert? Okay. Well, let's just talk about that afterwards, okay? But the short answer is we meet once a week, but there are other clubs that you can consider going to. There's things online that you can look at. There's a lot of Toastmasters.org. If you don't have that website, guests and members alike can go there and look at all kinds of stuff. I mean, really, once we get you started, we'll map out a whole plan. You will be busy. Okay?
Plus mentor.
Yeah, plus I explained that you have a mentor and you can just start tooling along.
Yeah, so I'm like thinking of like, do we need the mentors like not meeting before this or on a different day?
It's up to you and your mentor.
Also, if they're in that.
Yeah, and some people are more, hands-on than others, and it just kind of depends. Samantha Samantha and I text occasionally, how are you doing, is there any questions, and like that. And I do, if I have some new members in the pipeline, what I like to do is I like to, one meeting we'll stay after, we stay after for half an hour, 40 minutes or so, and I give you a nice overview so that you've got your foundation, okay? And then we'll get your icebreaker started.
shower facility here, by the way?
A shower facility?
That'd be nice.
I don't know.
It's pretty late. Okay, never mind.
Okay. You can always ask. We don't have one attached. All right, so back on to, but okay, good. So connecting the dots. Prana, how
I appreciated the spontaneity from tonight's meeting. It seemed like it was very fresh and new and exciting. So I enjoyed being able to come up and do the table topic again. This is my second table topic, so I had fun doing that. I just appreciate everyone's listening and just like I said, the spontaneity. It just nice to be able to go up and just to hear other people how they are creative in a situation like this. So just different ways of
different muscle table topics.
Yeah.
Deer in the headlight. How do you function? And that's what happens in life. And that's why I talked about segueing, acknowledging the question, then move on. Because if I say to Matthew, what is your favorite baseball team and why? And he says, the other day I was walking down the road and I noticed this dog standing. It's like, is that really how conversations work? You might want to say, I'm not that familiar with baseball, but I know my dog loves to chase balls, and so something that helps. Okay, but it's practice for life. It's practice for life. Good. Speaking of Matthew, so any comments?
Forced comment, great. Yeah. I enjoyed your topic. It's very on point, congenial to what I'm experiencing right now. Is that either go or get off the pot mentality. So it was nice. It was nice to hear somebody else thinking along the same lines.
Good. So not only are we supportive and positive for our fellow members, but we actually learn stuff, which is fun. Lindsay?
I do think that I will learn a lot from all of you, and hopefully from myself. I will capture that feeling of giving the presentation. I never thought that I would have to do that the first time coming. I didn't want to. And so I will internalize that uncomfortable feeling and remember where I was when I started and keep getting better from there.
It only gets better. It only gets better. And everyone practically who joins Toastmasters usually has some sort of discomfort with coming up in front. And this is where you practice to get over that, because it's much more fun to have fun up in front than to be terrified. Not to mention what happens when the sweat breaks out and your makeup starts to run and you can't think. And guys don't understand that part, but women, we do. Okay.
Oh, the Brill cream runs.
The Brill cream runs. That's right. Art told us about that was in the sun. Anyway, running Brill cream. Where else are you going to hear about that than Toastmasters? And Art's told us about that.
I just really love being here. I'm an observer, so sitting here and listening to all of you guys have so much knowledge to share, and you want to genuinely help us grow with this. So I really like being here.
You like the atmosphere?
Yeah, it's a good atmosphere. It's you feel comfortable to grow because there's no judgment here. There's no any of that. So you feel like you can expand.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Excellent. Excellent. All right, well, I think we're good here. Where is our acting president for tonight? Let's welcome Monty back up.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Wow, actually that meeting filled out quite nice. It was a pleasure having so many guests here. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second. What?